Hey you guys, so today we are talking about something that goes very well with what we talked about last week as far as running your own PR campaign and getting press, and that is, it's a drum roll, pitching, which I know does not sound like a very sexy topic, but I promise you this video is going to help you get the attention of press. But trust me, this is going to be really useful. You've got to know how to pitch when you're trying to get yourself a little bit of exposure. So stick with me, and we're also going to, in this video, include a template so you can see exactly how a pitch should look. And I'm also going to include a freebie down below in the description, which is going to have the same information. It's going to go over what we talked about, and it's also going to have a sample pitch so that you guys can hit the ground running as soon as this video ends. So tip number one is to put together a media list. If you are going to be pitching, you probably want to know who you're pitching to, right? So there's a couple ways to do this. So the first thing I suggest is really simple, and it's just brainstorming a brand or musician or product that's similar to yours, both in how it operates, but also in the size. So you want to think of a brand that is similar in size to you, not some huge mega brand that's already successful, but someone that's kind of in the same life stage. And then you want to type that into Google with the word review. So, musician review, product name review. And what this does is it'll show you all the different sites that have featured this artist or brand or whatever it is you're looking for. And you can play around with this. You can type the word review, you could type, feature, or whatever. There's a few different ways. You could just type the name into Google. The idea is that you're going to start to see different press opportunities for you based off who has featured other brands that are in a similar position as you. And so I think this is just such a good way to just get a feel instantly for who's even interested in what you have to offer. So the second thing that I would suggest for putting together your media list is to think outside the box. So if you're a musician, don't just approach music blogs. If you make guitar picks, don't just approach music blogs. You want to think about your brand and everything you stand for, what it is you're passionate about, and then approach those outlets. Because what you really want to do is connect with people, and there's no better way to do that than aligning with your interests. So what I mean by this is we had an artist that we worked with a while back, and she was super into nutrition. It was a big part of who she was. And so we reached out to music blogs, sure, but we also reached out to a lot of blogs that featured recipes, and we had her do her own recipes. And as part of that feature, she also got to showcase a little bit about who she was and her music and what she does. And it was such a great way to get in front of new fans and new audiences, because what it did is it didn't just try to sell them by saying, hey, here's my product, hey, here's my music, listen, listen, listen. Instead, it just started with a connection. It's, hey, here's this recipe. Are you trying to eat healthy, but you also are gluten-free? Well, so am I, and here's this recipe. And you get people to connect over the same things that you care about, and you connect over those beliefs, and they're instantly going to be more interested in you and want to check you out and look further into you. So definitely include some interest blogs in your pitching and some out of the box blogs. So tip number two is to do your research and make it personal. So when I say do your research, I mean take the time to get to know the person you're pitching. And as we talked about in the last video, this is really important that you are pitching a specific person, like, Molly@blogname.com instead of just info@blogname.com, because not only are you going to go to one person's inbox instead of an inbox that just is accessed by, 20, 30, however many people, but it also gives you the opportunity to connect on a personal level and build that relationship. So when you're reaching out to Molly@blogname.com, you can actually research what that writer has done, and you can go and find a piece that they did that you connected with, and you can reference it in your email. And this is where getting personal comes in. So instead of just going straight to the pitch saying, hey, here's what you can do for me, you start off the email and you say, hey, Molly, I saw your piece on whatever guitar, and I've been really thinking about which one I should get, but your piece really convinced me, so, thank you for your insights on XYZ. By the way, if you're into that, I might actually also have something that could also interest you, and that's when you start your pitch. And there's a lot of different ways to lead into it. It doesn't have to sound as corny as that. But the idea is that you want to start something by being very personal and by doing your research on the person you're pitching. The one thing I want you to keep in mind as far as all this goes is that you are asking people to invest in you when you pitch them. When you send them an email, you are saying, please take the time to open this email, read this email, post about my product or service or business. You're asking them to invest quite a bit in you. And depending on your niche, these people aren't always getting paid. So it's really, their time is precious. And so when you're asking someone to invest in them, you have to be willing to invest in them first. And that's why this is so important. Tip number 3. Include all the facts. I know it sounds simple, but you wouldn't believe how many pitches I've received that either don't tell me who the person is or what they do or what they want. So these are the things you want to include. Who are you? What are you asking for? A review, an interview, whatever it is. And then include all your links, your social media, your website, whatever is relevant, you want to include it in there. Please don't attach anything to the email. Giant photos that slow down the email, terrible idea. Nobody likes that. Also, they're afraid to download it because they don't know if it's a virus, right? So number 3, include all the facts. I know this sounds simple, but you would not believe how many emails I get that don't include the basics. What are the basics? Who are you? What do you want? And what are your social media links? Those are the basics. And when I say what do you want, I mean, do you want an interview? Are you asking for a review? You have to make sure to tell them what it is you're looking for and take out the guesswork. The clearer you can be in this, and the more quickly they can read the email, digest it, and know instantly what you want, the better. Like, you want to make it very easy for them to say yes, and this is how you do it. Short, sweet, to the point, but include all the basics. 4, you got to follow up. I have had so many placements that never would have existed if I did not just follow up. I mean, it's very common that people just, things get deleted or moved or they just don't see them. And so 3 to 5 days, depending on how time sensitive it is, and I would say no more than 2 follow-ups. After 2 follow-ups, you gotta maybe assume you're just not gonna hear from them. Number 5, share your coverage. You guys, we talked about this in the last video. It's so important. When somebody takes the time to feature you, put it out there on your social media, in your mailing list, anywhere you can. Share it, tag them, make sure your audience is seeing where it came from and that they can directly get to them. You want to grow together, and this is a big part of the process, is showing appreciation. It's also just common decency, so just be a good person about it. I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget you can get the free download with the pitch strategy that we've been talking about, as well as a free pitch template. I'll include it in the description below, and I can't wait to hear all your success stories. As always, I would love to hear more about what you guys want to hear me talk about, whether it's PR or relationship building or building a business, whatever it is, please let me know, and I will see you next time.